Hi, and welcome to the Caterpillar Cross Stitch YouTube channel. My name's Ford from Son of a Stitch. They say that you die twice. First, when your physical form expires, and then the second time, the last time someone speaks your name. Now, we can't all be Aya Nasir and live forever in infamy as a result of our very poor copper ore quality, so we have to find some other way to leave a lasting impression on the world. So this is the third in my series of videos about how to make sure your cross stitches last forever and stay beautifully framed. Thanks for joining me for this series. We upload videos every single week here at Caterpillar Cross Stitch, so make sure that you subscribe to the channel. And if you like this video, make sure to give it a like and leave me a comment down below. Likewise, if you have a question you'd like to see me address in the future, go ahead and leave that in the comments as well, and I'll see if I can answer your question. So in episode 1 of this series, we talked about the kinds of products that you should use and that you should avoid in order to make sure that your cross stitch stays looking beautiful forever. And then last week I showed you how to wash it in order to make sure that it doesn't get discolored and doesn't accumulate more dirt than it needs to. And this week I'm going to teach you how to get that project to lay nice and flat and beautifully in the frame. The first step of that is going to be to iron or press your project. Now, if you just washed it like I showed you how to do in the last video, it should still be a little bit damp, so we can just start from there. All right, so the first thing we're going to do while we leave our damp project on the towel that we laid it on in the last video is we want to prepare our work surface. So what I like to iron on is actually just a cotton pillowcase. I see people ironing on things like terry cloth towels, and honestly, those are too thick. They have too much give. And so the iron will actually introduce folds and bubbles and creases to the project. So I recommend using something thinner like a tea towel or both sides of a cotton pillowcase. But you'll notice that now that we've got it laid down, we've got some creases from it being stored. Pay no attention to this bleaching. This is why it's my ironing pillowcase, is because my hair bleached at one time. But what we're going to want to do is actually iron out these creases and wrinkles, because if we leave them there, they're actually going to impress themselves into our project. So we're just going to use the iron and smooth all those wrinkles out so we don't introduce them. I've got kind of this area right here that I'm going to be working on, so that's the part that I'm going to focus on, making sure that my creases are gone. All right, so now that we've got that smoothed out, we're going to want to grab our project and get to ironing. So a few things about settings. If you are using regular Aida and regular floss, you'll want to use the cotton or linen settings. You'll want the high heat. If you're using silk flosses, you'll want to use the silk setting. And if you have any of these specialty flosses like the metallic floss or the day glow floss or the glow in the dark floss, you'll want to use the top end of the synthetic setting down here, or rayon if your iron is that specific, because that's what those flosses are made out of. But this project is pure cotton, both in fabric and floss, so I'm going to set my settings to maximum, and I'm going to turn off steam. I do not want any steam to come from my iron. The primary reason for that is because the steam chamber in irons has a tendency to get some buildup of some rust or some hard water, that kind of stuff. So I do not want to take the risk of that winding up on my project. Plus, my project is already wet, so it's going to be generating its own steam. So out of an abundance of caution, I recommend turning off the steam setting on your iron. Most of the time it's not a problem, but that one time when your iron spits a little bit of rust onto the project and it never comes out, you'll thank me for that never happening. That makes sense, right? That's how time works, right? Yeah, no, just take my word for it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay my project out. I'm going to make sure it's nice and smooth and flat, and I'm going to feel across the surface here to make sure that I don't have any folds or creases underneath it in my pillowcase, again, because those will just get impressed into the project. So I'm going to start with a pass on the front. This is just an initial pass to get most of the remaining moisture out of that project. This is Ford and Nugget coming to you from the editing room in the future. Say hi, Nugget. We're here because I forgot to remind you while I was shooting to join the Caterpillar Cross Stitch VIP Stitch Club. When you join, you'll get 10% off your first order. You'll get a digital download with 8 free PDF cross-stitch patterns in it, and you'll get our top 10 cross-stitching tips. So make sure you hit the link that is down there in the description to get those great perks. Now, after not very long, most of that moisture is going to be gone. So then what I'm going to want to do is take my project and turn it over and give it a pass on the back. Be careful when you're picking it up not to bend it too much, because you will introduce folds and creases. So you want to kind of keep it tight and lift it with both hands while you turn it over. So then on the back, I'm going to give it another pass, and I'm going to lightly cover the unstitched area of the fabric, but I am mostly going to focus on the stitched area because all that extra fiber there holds a lot more moisture. You'll notice it's still steaming really heavily in the area where the sweater is and not so much in the rest of it. Woo, got a snag there. While I'm doing that, you should go join the Caterpillar Cross Stitch Facebook group and follow the Caterpillar Cross Stitch Instagram feed. If you're not in those two spaces, you're missing out on just a mountain of knowledge, expertise, experience, and support. So just take my word for it and go do it. You can thank me later. And then once most of the steaming has gone away, I'm going to, again, very carefully turn the project over. And I'm going to do my final press here. And again, this is mostly going to focus on the stitches, but once I see the steaming almost completely stop, that's when I'm really going to focus on the unstitched areas of the fabric, because I really want to make sure I get those creases out of there. Be careful not to press down too hard with the point of the iron, because it will dig in there and create a crease, and you'll have to get it all wet and start all over. So then after you've almost got it done, as it feels almost completely dry, then we'll really put some pressure in these areas where I had creases before. And it's looking pretty smooth here. Now this is very important. Do not touch it. Let it sit there until it is totally cool. This is very difficult to do if you're working on multiple projects and you're impatient to move on to the next one, but you want it to be totally cool to the touch before you move it, because that will kind of lock in that smooth press that we just created. If it's still warm when you move it, that will make it much easier to reintroduce wrinkles and creases. Now that we've finished ironing our project, and we're going to leave it on the ironing board until it's totally cool so we don't accidentally introduce any more wrinkles, we want to make sure that the project stays nice and flat in the frame to get a beautiful display. And I have a pretty simple trick that I use for that. And this is something that I learned from my days in a photo finishing studio. And that is just to get a piece of mat board. You can buy this at a craft store or a framing shop. You can even buy scraps from a framing shop sometimes that can save you a lot of money. Or I ordered this as a large pack of 11 by 14 ones off of Amazon. I'll put a link down there in the description for that for you. So then what I want to do is I want to cut this down to the size of my frame. The easiest way to make sure that it's going to fit is I just use the glass from the frame, which I'm not going to put in my project usually because I don't like glass in front of my stitches. I'll use that glass as a template to cut down my mat board so that I'll know it'll be exactly the right size. And then once I've got it cut down, I'll just use some of this. This is a spray-on photo-safe repositionable adhesive. And this isn't going to have any acids or phthalates or anything like that that is going to cause my project to discolor over time. And so all I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to spray an even coat of this on my project. Make sure that you do this outside because this stuff settles on everything and your whole world will be sticky if you try to do it indoors. So make sure you do it outside and make sure you get all the way to the corners because you want to make sure that your project is secured in the corners. And then you're going to let that dry for about a minute. And that will leave a tacky surface that you can set your project on. And then the project will be nice and smooth, and you can just smooth the project out over that surface and it'll lay nice and flat. It won't have any bumps or creases and it'll look beautiful. And we've already cut the mat board down to the size of the frame so that we can just pop that straight in the frame. I'll do a more comprehensive guide to framing, but this little trick is my favorite way to make sure that after I have ironed my project, that it stays that beautiful, smooth, clean surface that I created in doing so. I was trying to figure out how to make a smooth criminal joke in order to finish this video out, but maybe if you can come up with one, you can put it down in the comments. I do want to thank you so much for watching. For Caterpillar Cross Stitch, my name is Ford. Don't forget to smash that like and subscribe button, and I will see you next week.
Hi, have you heard about Love It Stitch It yet? You can design and shop the cross stitch patterns you've always wanted. Love It Stitch It is an easy to use design tool and exclusive cross stitch marketplace, giving you the freedom to create, sell and shop all in one place. You can design anything that you like, add text, upload and convert pictures and artwork. You can design the cross stitch patterns of your dream. You can download them for personal use, or you can upload them onto the marketplace, designed by cross stitchers for cross stitchers, jam-packed with some gorgeous cross stitch patterns from designers all over the world. If you're not interested in designing or selling, that's totally fine too. Just visit the marketplace and you can shop from hundreds of beautiful cross stitch patterns so you can pick your next project. Are you already a cross stitch designer, but maybe you're fed up of other marketplaces, maybe not getting the sales that you deserve, maybe not getting your patterns seen as much as you'd like? Then let us help. You can easily register for free and get uploading your PDF patterns with absolutely no fees whatsoever. Let us then market your gorgeous designs that you've put all of your work into to over 185,000 dedicated cross stitchers from all over the world. We will absolutely do our best to get your patterns seen and into the right hands of people that we know will absolutely love stitching them. As a designer, you can easily list your PDF patterns for sale, no matter which software you use to design them. Our job is to make cross-stitch design accessible to all. There's nothing to upgrade, there's nothing to download. It's really easy to use and beginner friendly. We also wanted to create the marketplace to bring sellers and buyers together so that it's really easy and such an enjoyable experience to shop all of the high quality verified designs on the platform, but also to give those amazing designers a place to really showcase their creativity. So visit loveitstitchit.com today and register for free. Stitch what you love and free your creativity.